So how does
Yeah,
songwriting work for you? Is it like a conduit kind of thing? It just kind of comes to you, or like how does it work?
man. Used to. I would try to be really deliberate about it.
Yeah.
You know, I'd get the fresh legal pad and the blue pen, and today I'm gonna write a song about the Alamo, whatever, right?
Right. Yeah.
So just start, poking around at it, see what came out, and it's not gonna say that's the wrong way to do it, but for me, it was an exercise in monotony, just like. But
Yeah.
what would happen is when you're trying to finish that crossword puzzle, right? Basically,
Mm-hmm.
um, some other thing would fall out, right? Well, what is that? What is this little thing that I'm whistling now over here, right? It's got nothing to do with this song, but let me see what that is. And so it's sort of like if you distract your mind with filling in blanks, sort of your subconscious yells at you this other thing. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so I figured out a long time ago too. For me, um, I've always liked to tell jokes and just bullshit at a very high level.
Yeah.
And somebody told me, they're like, "Man, why don't you write songs the way you talk?" And I go, "Fuck, I don't know. I was always trying to sound like whatever. Let me think about that, right?"
Yeah.
And so then it dawned on me. I'm like, man, if I always just kind of like am in that mode, right? Well, I'm doing most of the legwork as I walk around, all day just bebopping, doing whatever, And so people get annoyed sometimes because I'll say the same thing a few different times over, the course of 30, 40 minutes or something. They're like, yeah, you already told that joke. I'm like, no, it's not for you. That's for me. I did it different this time, and I'm trying to hear what it sounds like hitting the wall and coming back. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
love
just
that. Yeah.
yeah, man, yeah. And I think that's another secret too. Is not in all of them, but in a lot of my songs, there's little jokes for me
Yeah.
that are all in, and I'll never tell anybody about them. And there's just like little buoys that as I go through them, and I hit one, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. That's great, yeah,
Little
And that's just for me, man. Just little
little you
Easter
had to
eggs.
be there jokes, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but only for me inside my brain, dude.
Right.
Because it's and if you can't do it for that, then why are you doing it? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, just start a wedding band and go play, whatever Beatles tunes or whatever, man. Um, but so now I don't. I used to get worried about like, oh man, I haven't written a song in a couple of months. Like maybe that's it. Maybe I don't write songs anymore. And it's sort of like one of those. Remember those 3D painting things where you had to like cross your eyes and
Yeah.
back away. If you look straight at it, you'd never see it, right? And so for me with songs, it's sort of like that. I kind of have to just be, navel gazing, dude, and you'll catch something out of the corner of your eye, and that's where it lives.
Yeah.
So you have to just kind of study it in your peripheral, until you can sneak up and grab it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one
And
of the
so
things I wanted to chat with you about was like kind of the landscape of your songs, kind of the descriptive nature of them, and almost like a locale, right? Like your songs have a place in them almost always, and I love
right,
that. Like it's kind of like when you read a book versus watching the movie. The book is going to
right,
have all that descriptive language in it. The movie's going to have all that visually. You're
right.
really good at describing things in songs. Is that kind
Thank
of
you,
a
man.
strategy of yours? Is that something you seek?
I think it's maybe an artifact. You know what I mean? I was a big reader. Like I said, we didn't watch a lot of TV growing up, man.
Right.
If you weren't into Wheel of Fortune or the nightly news, then the TV was off at our place. And um, what John Prine say, right? She made me live in my head. I did a lot of head living for a long time, and read a lot. And the the books that I always enjoyed the most, right, were just the ones that set it up for you, built the room, right,
Mm-hmm.
and then let you walk into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's just an artifact of that, man. I don't know that I intentionally set out to build a scene, right, before setting it in motion. Um, but it happens,
It's
and
beautiful, man. It
thank
truly
you, man.
is. Yeah.
Thank you.
I love that about you so much, man. And probably my favorite thing about your art, and the other being conversation, right? Like your lyrics are very conversational, which I love as well.
Well, that's back to that thing, dude. I finally kind of like kind of got a handle on writing the way I talk.
Right.
You know, it's sort of like why fight phonetics and syllables and stuff if you can just, you know. So I was always big into like stand-up comedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like not recently so much, but George Carlin, a master, right?
Yeah.
And I always tell, like, you know, every 10 years somebody will come ask for advice from me, right? But I say, man, and mostly it's like, well, how do you come up with shit to say between songs? I'm like, well, you're just talking to people, man. And if your show isn't set up as a conversation, well, then what are we doing? You know, especially if you're doing a songwriter show. Holy shit, what are we doing? You know what I mean? It's supposed to be a conversation.
It's massive. It's massive.
And the songs, and the songs are as much a part of it as the bit you say before or after or whatever.
Yep.
It's all a conversation, man. And so I tell them, I'm like, go watch every George Carlin special you can get your hands on. Go listen to the record, 7 Dirty Words. Holy shit. It's the most punk rock thing in the history of things, dude.
Yep.
What you learn when you're watching those comics from then, you know, late 70s into the early 90s, maybe, you got to set it up, you tell the joke, and then the punchline. Well, it's the same with a song a lot of times, man.
It's like being the pitcher and the hitter, right?
That's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you got to be the catcher too in case it gets by, you know?
Yep, exactly right. Yep.
But I think that's the notion of, you know, the songs having a setting and a locale, I think is just artifact of how I figured out how to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do your lyrics to your songs change? Like, do you make up new lyrics to your songs? I mean, people would never know, right? I mean, you're the writer, so.
Well, used to before people started coming to shows, yeah.
If people started learning the songs, now you can't get away with that shit anymore.
I know, and I'm gonna tell you, dude. Like, the Live from the Old Quarter record was actually my second record, but the first one didn't get much distribution, right? Like none, in fact. But maybe doing what I do and making a live record, I never really thought about it until about 2 months later, when people, you know, I recognize people in the audience.
Yeah.
Well, that, and then you're telling the stories, and they're like, "You told the story different this time," and I'm like, "Shit, did I?" You know,
oops.
You know, because it's sort of like a joke too, right? Yep. Like the important part is the setup and then the punchline. The meat in between is sort of like that's how you get there, right? You know.
Yeah.
And so, like, shit. Not only do they know the lyrics to the songs now they know all my goddamn stories. Now I know why Ray Wiley Hubbard was bitching so many years ago. You know?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, Ray Wiley's notorious for that. It's like, is that
the entire audience goes, "I didn't know a goat walked on his back legs," you know.